How many styles are available? 3. They are platform, slide, and wedge. So my answer to number 1 is 5. The answer to number 2 is 3. So now for you to do, I want you to draw a tree diagram to find the number of different color and style combinations. So this will probably be the last tree diagram we draw today. So you do that. Draw the tree diagram and see how many different color and style combinations there are. So here is our first problem. Find the total number of outcomes when a coin is tossed and a number cube is rolled. So we don't care what all the possible outcomes are. We could make a tree diagram to find it. We just want to know how many outcomes are there. Okay, so what are my 2 events? We got a coin toss and rolling a number cube. So I've got event coin and I've got event, I want to call it dice. Okay, rolling some dice and flipping a coin. So when I flip a coin, how many different outcomes are there? 2, heads or tails. When I roll dice, how many possible outcomes are there? 6, 1 through 6. So to find the number of outcomes when both of these are happening, we would just multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. So there are 12 possible outcomes when flipping a coin and rolling dice. What do you mean? What'd you get as the answer? Okay, tell me how you got 6. Did you do a tree diagram? Did you? You made a whole tree? Okay, you could have done that. Okay, so if I made a tree diagram, you should have had 3 colors. Right? So we don't know what the colors are. Color 1, color 2, color 3. And then you have style 1 and style 2. Style 1 and style 2. Style 1 and style 2. To get the 6 different outcomes. Or you could use the fundamental counting principle. If there were 3 colors and 2 styles, you just multiply the number of different colors by the number of different styles to get 6. The jean shop sells young men's jeans in different sizes, styles, and lengths. Find the number of jeans available, then find the probability of randomly selecting a size 32 by 34 slim fit. And then we want to know, is it likely or unlikely that size would be chosen? So when we're choosing pants, we have to choose waist size, length in inches, and then the style of the pants. So this has 3 events. Choosing waist, then choosing length, then choosing style. So to figure out how many different outcomes there are, how many choices do we have for the waist style? 5. How many choices do we have for the length?
3.
How many choices do we have for the style? So those are my 3 different events. So to find how many possible outcomes there are, we would just multiply. 5 times 3 times 3. If I multiply 5 times 3 times 3, I find that there are 45 different possible outcomes. Everybody good with that? Now, so the first question, find the number of jeans available. The answer to that is 45. Next, find the probability of selecting a size 32, 34 in slim fit. Okay, so we want to know the probability of choosing 32 by 34 slim. Okay, so here's a new way we can count that. So first I got to choose the waist size. I need the waist size to be 32. So how many different ways can I pick a 32? There's only one. So I've got one way of choosing a 32. Now then the length needs to be a 34. So how many ways do I have to choose that? One. And then the style needs to be slim. How many ways do I have to choose that? There's what? One. So if there's only one possible waist, one possible length, and one possible style, we could multiply all these together. 1 times 1 times 1, that gives me 1. So there is one way we can pick a 32, 34 slim out of 45 different possible outcomes that we counted before. So the probability is 1 out of 45. So is that good odds or not so good odds? Okay, well, we can make that into a decimal. 1 divided by 45 is 0.0222. If we multiply that by 100, that means it's about a 2.2% chance. So is that likely or not likely? It's not very likely. We would say that's unlikely. If something only happens once out of every 45 times, that's not very likely. Outcomes would there be now if we added relaxed fit? 60. Now it would be 5 times 3 times 4, which is 60 possible outcomes. So now if we want to know the probability of selecting a 36 by 30 relaxed fit, then how many ways are there to choose that? There's only one way to pick a 36. There's only one way to pick a 30. There's only one way to pick relaxed. So there would be only one possible way. So 1 out of 60. So is that likely or unlikely? That's even less likely than it was before, right? Because there are even more options now.
It's 1.6.
Yeah, 1.6%. Right, there are 3 events, tossing a quarter, a dime, and a nickel. So it would be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 possible outcomes.
I messed up bad. I got 6.
Did you add? What'd you do?
I did the tree diagram thing.
Oh, you must have 4 2 times.
Could we
3.
have done the tree thing?
You can do the tree.
I did.
If you did the tree, when you flip the quarter, it could be heads or tails.
I'll put quarter down, nickel and dime up there. Okay.
When you flip the quarter, there are 2 outcomes, heads or tails. So the event is flipping the quarter, but the outcomes are heads or tails. It's like when we flip 3 quarters. We didn't put quarter, quarter, quarter.
Yeah.
We had to put heads and tails because that was quarter 1. And then for quarter 2 is heads or tails, heads or tails. You with me?
Okay.
What you're flipping doesn't really matter with how many outcomes there are. It's just a way to help you keep the events straight in our heads. Okay, the second one, choosing a number on a number cube and picking a marble from the bag at the right. Pick a number 1 through 6. It's 6. Pick a number 1 through 2. It's 2.
I did 6 times 4 and I just got 24.
6 times 4 is 24. So you said there are 6 possibilities when we roll a number cube, and there are 4 possibilities when we choose a marble. I agree. And then you multiply them, 6 times 4 to give 24 different possible outcomes. So again, we could make a tree diagram to show what they are, but we don't care what they are right now. We just care how many there are. 3. Mira has 3 sweaters, 4 blouses, and 6 skirts that coordinate. Find the number of different outfits consisting of a sweater, blouse, and skirt that are possible. So let's do that part first. How many different possible outcomes are there when choosing a sweater, blouse, and skirt? Pick a number 1 through 6. It's 3. Pick a number 1 through 2. It's 2. So just the first part. How many different outcomes are there when you pick a sweater, a blouse, and a skirt? Yep. No. There are 3 events. Right? The events are picking a sweater, picking a blouse, and picking a skirt. Those are my 3 events. How many choices do we have when we pick a sweater? 3. Right? It says 3 sweaters. How many choices do we have when we pick a blouse? 4. How many choices do we have when we pick a skirt? 6. So how many different outcomes are there when you're picking 1 sweater, 1 blouse, and 1 skirt? We just multiply. 72. So there are 72 total possible outcomes. Now, it says find the probability of selecting a particular sweater, blouse, and skirt outfit. So that means we want 1 particular sweater, 1 particular blouse, and 1 particular skirt. So the probability of picking that 1 combo would be 1 out of 72. Then it says make this a fraction and a percent. So if I turn that into a percent, 1 divided by 72, and then move the decimal twice, that's 1.39%. Is this likely or unlikely? It's unlikely. Okay, 5. Choosing a number from 1 to 20 and a color from 7 different colors. So how many different outcomes does this have?
140.
Would be 20 times 7, which is 140. You've got 20 numbers and 7 colors. Picking a month of the year and a day of the week. How many different outcomes?
2,555. What?
There are 12 months in the year. There are 7 days in a week.
Oh, I thought you were picking day of the.
Nope, just a day of the week. So you're picking like a Monday in January or a Thursday in December.
Day of the week, right? But I thought you were picking
So
day of
12 times 7 would be 84. Okay, next, choosing from a comedy, horror, or action movie, each shown in 4 different theaters. So you've got 3 different kinds of movies in 4 different theaters. That means there are 12 possible outcomes. Next one, rolling a number cube and tossing 2 coins. So first, I've got to roll a number cube. There are 6 possibilities. Now, tossing 2 coins. That means there are 2 for the first coin and 2 for the second coin. So it'd be 6 times 2 times 2, which is 24 different possible outcomes. Okay, the last one here. Choosing iced tea in regular, raspberry, lemon, or peach, sweetened or unsweetened, in a glass or plastic container. So there are 3 events. You have 3 choices. First, you have to choose regular, raspberry, lemon, or peach. So there are 4 outcomes there. The second event, sweetened or unsweetened, there are 2 outcomes there. Glass or plastic, there are 2 outcomes there. So we've got 4 times 2 times 2, which is 16 possible outcomes.